I suppose, number one, Darren, truth be told, if you want to compare quotes properly, just give it to the builder's sales consultant and they'll do it for you. That's their job. They want to win the sale, of course. So they'll be more than
Absolutely.
happy to compare their quote against, another two or three that you've got. They'll also be far more experienced. You can't really lie or anything. Like, there's no deception of that. It will absolutely and transparently be presented in terms of, well, this is what we've got and this is what they've got. And it's not about throwing anyone under a bus or anything like that. It's common practice for us to review quotes, Darren, to help people understand what they are missing, what they're getting, or somewhere in the middle, isn't it? So,
Yeah, absolutely. And at that point, they've already got their quote. You're going to have to share the full quote and the other bits and pieces with that other builder's rep so they
yeah,
know what they're actually comparing.
yeah,
So, and sometimes you can do both sides, to be fair, you play them off a bit. And that they'll come up with should come up with the same answers, but again it'll just highlight some of the deficiencies there, and it's not trying to find that last item, the
mm,
very last item. Sometimes it's difficult, and it can be just missed, and that's not, like you say, I don't think they're trying to be deceptive. Sometimes it's difficult because that builder's used to reading their own quote, and now they've got a quote from another builder and it's written in a different way and it's got, 1,000 other things in it. And you're like, I
yeah.
think it's there, or I don't think they're including it, but I don't actually know. And so there may still be a
Mm.
couple of assumptions made at the end, but at least it's going to be pretty close.
I think there's always a few assumptions and question marks because the
Yeah, yeah,
detailed inclusions sometimes don't even get down to that nitty gritty, or that can happen. So what we'll do is we'll cover basically three core components to educate you on when you're looking at quotes. You've got them on the kitchen table. This is what will help you if you want to do it yourself. Okay, it doesn't include things like site costs usually, but every builder will have a floor plan. Let's say it's a 22 square. It's a 4 bed design with two living and a double garage, and it's got an al fresco. It's a very common requested sort of plan, Daz. So what you
absolutely.
want to do first and foremost is make sure the designs that you're getting through each builder and their quote are actually relative to one another. Quite often we see quotes that are one or two squares different, and the client's like, "Oh, you're so much more expensive," and we're saying, "But they're a whole square smaller than what we are." So that does matter. Base prices will obviously be reflected upon the size of the house as well. Okay, so number one, floor plan size needs to be comparable. If it's not, you need to work out the square meter rate roughly and essentially account for that difference. It
On
is a
that
bit more.
note, you're probably talking around, on a single story, around, let's say, ballpark $1,400 to $1,600 per square meter. So if you're one square, which is 9.29 square meters, smaller or bigger, whichever way it swings, that could be, it's nearly 10 square meters. That could be 15 grand difference in price there alone. So, that's why it's so important to make sure you're comparing size for size. Even half a square, 5 square meters bigger, $7,500 more expensive or less expensive because of the differences in house size. So,
Yeah,
it is a really important part of the puzzle.
relative to their inclusion. So,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
correct.
So to keep it really simple, review plan. Yes, review the base price.